Night cries were so loud I changed the locks. What am I supposed to do then? When I asked Fenton, for some reason, I got a reply from my in-laws. You and the kid can go sleep outside. Following such unbelievable words, I could hear my in-laws laughing. So, my father-in-law and his wife are in on this too. Realizing this, I sighed and said, "All right, just don't complain wherever I sleep." Huh? My in-laws and Fenton let out a dumbfounded voice. They probably thought I had nowhere to go. Well, tough luck. I didn't expect to be locked out, but I do have a place to go. And it's a place inconvenient for you guys. Well, you can regret it after I've gone there. Whatever you say later, I won't care. Right now, Lily is all that matters to me. If I can protect her, I don't care if you all are ruined. I made up my mind and turned my back on my in-laws' house. My name is Jolie. I'm a housewife, about to turn 30 next month. Though a housewife, I'm not doing any household chores right now. Not because I'm slacking off. Actually, my daughter Lily was born just 2 weeks ago, and I'm resting now. So, I'm not doing any chores. But, Fenton doesn't care that I just had a baby. Why aren't you doing the chores? Just want to slack off, right? Judah, who was supposed to have been present when my husband, Fenton, was born, seems clueless as well. People usually get back to chores the day after. I'm really astounded he can say such things so boldly. Doesn't anyone understand me? Things aren't going well with my husband, and I'm distant from my in-laws. My parents are no longer here in this world, and I have no other family to rely on. But even if I'm alone, I must protect Lily at all costs. Lily's the reason that keeps me going. Maybe getting married was a mistake. Lately, I've been thinking this more and more. But before we got married, Fenton and his parents were kind. Especially the in-laws, they were so considerate they even offered to pay for the wedding. Is it really okay for us to accept the wedding expenses? It's our only son's wedding. We'd be laughed at by relatives if we were stingy, Madge said with a laugh. Judah felt the same. Both Fenton and I are in the bridal industry. Colleagues will attend, and we can't have an embarrassing ceremony. Fenton and Judah work for the same bridal company. It's somewhat famous locally, and they are involved in a broad range of business. Their main business is managing wedding venues, but they also seem to handle restaurants for after parties. So, many of their associates have a deep understanding of weddings. That's why a cheap wedding is out of the question. I understood why my in-laws were willing to pay. And so, Fenton and I had quite a lavish wedding with their help. But that was good only up until the wedding. After I started living with my in-laws post-marriage, they began to make demands of me. Hey, Jolie? Still not pregnant? What? Well, yes. I gave a vague answer. Then Madge audibly sighed. OMG. You're so useless. Useless? I asked back in surprise. But Madge abruptly looked away. It's nothing. She obviously dodged the question. Wait, is this some kind of harassment? For a moment, that thought crossed my mind. But I also felt indebted for the wedding expenses. In the end, I couldn't confront Madge directly. On the other hand, Judah treated me like a housekeeper. Hey! There are no snacks! I'm sorry, I'll prepare them now. You should have done this before I got home. What a useless wife! Judah started grumbling. I was taken aback. Useless wife, what the? Am I also supposed to take care of Judah? I married Fenton, becoming his wife. So, I'm willing to do anything for Fenton. Of course, I'm also willing to do what I can for my in-laws. but being ordered around feels wrong. Is this really how Judah and Madge feel about me? I was puzzled by the sudden change in my in-laws' attitude. But I didn't have the courage to stand up to my in-laws. I thought they would kick me out if I did. I quit my job when I got married. And I don't have much savings left. Plus, I don't have my parents around anymore. So, if I were to get divorced, I'd have no one to turn to. That scared me, so I couldn't stand up to my in-laws. Even when Madge harassed me and Judah treated me like a housekeeper, all I could do was bear it. I pushed my feelings deep down inside. And then, about 6 months into the marriage, one day, as I was about to prepare breakfast, I suddenly felt nauseous and collapsed right there. "What's wrong?" Madge asked in an annoyed tone. "Just feeling a bit." "You can't even take care of your own self." "I'm sorry, excuse me," I said and rushed to the bathroom. But my condition didn't improve no matter how long I waited.
"Hey! What are you doing, Jolie? The chores aren't done yet?"
"Sorry."
"Sorry doesn't cut it. I'm off to work, so make sure you do the housework. Got it?"
Fenton yelled. I felt too sick to even respond. Hours passed, and I finally started to feel better. But Madge was waiting for me in the living room. "Found a good excuse to skip chores, huh?" I wasn't trying to skip.
"You're in no position to talk back. Just quietly do the cleaning and laundry."
I flinched at Madge's loud voice. Unaware of my feelings, Madge just stared at me. I guess I have no choice. I sighed internally and started the chores. That day somehow passed. But my health never fully recovered. Feeling something was off, I visited a hospital a few days later. To my surprise, I found out I was pregnant. I rushed home and first told Madge, who suddenly changed her tune.
"Oh, you were pregnant? You should have said so earlier."
Madge smiled. Then she suddenly started making a phone call. "It's been a while. Actually, my son's wife is pregnant." From her conversation, it seemed she was bragging to relatives. Maybe they'll be kinder to me now. I harbored such faint hope. But I was wrong. Even knowing about my pregnancy, my in-laws' treatment of me didn't change. Worse, I overheard Judah saying, "Once the heir is born, the wife would be useless. Might as well divorce her." Judah was gleefully telling this to someone over the phone. I felt a chill. So they only needed an heir. I had a hunch because of their treatment. But hearing it made me sad. I bit my lip and continued with the chores. Of course, I considered talking to Fenton, but as soon as he learned about my pregnancy, he started coming home late. When I asked why, Fenton gave a sharp reply. "You're pregnant, so I've done my duty as a husband."
"What do you mean?"
"Being childless for too long would make us look bad to relatives." He said it as if he cooperated just for that. Fenton bluntly stated such selfish thoughts.
"What? That's not funny. Shut up. Just give birth to the child. That's your duty as a wife."
Fenton looked at me as if our marriage was an obligation. In that moment, I realized everything. Fenton won't help me. He's not even on my side. I'm all alone here. And the in-laws weren't kind to me. They were only nice to me because they wanted a housekeeper and someone to produce an heir. Realizing this, something snapped inside me. Any love I had for Fenton disappeared. That's right. I'll divorce once this child is born. From that day, that's what I started to think. I need to prepare for the divorce. With the few days left until childbirth, I requested an investigation into the conduct of my in-laws and Fenton. Then the day of delivery came. A beautiful girl was born. I named her Lily. The day I brought Lily home, my in-laws and Fenton were happy. But their expressions gradually darkened. And then, an incident happened. It was on the day of Lily's 1-month checkup. After the checkup, I was supposed to be driven home by Fenton's company's president. It turns out his daughter had given birth around the same time as me. So, our checkups coincided, and thanks to the president's kindness, I was given a ride home. But when we arrived at my house, we encountered a problem. For some reason, the entrance key wouldn't work. In trouble, I rang the doorbell and called out.
Hey, Fenton? The entrance won't open.
Then Fenton's voice came from inside the house.
Night cries were so loud I changed the locks. You changed the entrance lock without telling me?
I asked back, and Fenton raised his voice a bit.
Crying all day long, day after day. I want some peace and quiet, so don't come back.
Then what am I supposed to do? When I asked Fenton again, for some reason, I got a reply from my in-laws.
You and the kid can go sleep outside.
Following such unbelievable words, I could hear my in-laws laughing. So, Judah and the Madge are in on this too. Realizing this, I sighed and declared,
All right, just don't complain wherever I sleep. Huh?
My in-laws and Fenton let out a dumbfounded voice. They probably thought I had nowhere to go. Well, tough luck. I didn't expect to be locked out, but I do have a place to go. And it's a place inconvenient for you. Well, you can regret it after I've gone there. Whatever you say later, I won't care. Right now, Lily is all that matters to me. If I can protect her, I don't care if you all are ruined. I made up my mind and turned my back on my in-laws' house. Then I approached the president.
You heard that, right?
Of course.
So, about what you mentioned earlier, could I ask for your help?
I asked the president. By the way, what he mentioned earlier was during our ride home, where he talked to me about something. Actually, there are several postpartum care hotels in the country now. The president's company, which is expanding into the bridal business, was also considering incorporating this postpartum care.
We want to engage with our customers long-term, from marriage to childbirth to child-rearing,
the president had said. And he had just offered me to be a monitor for that plan. Upon my request, the president nodded.
I'll take you there right now.
Thank you.
Though we've secured a place for you to stay, their attitude is unforgivable,
the president said, staring intently at my in-laws' house. He's probably thinking of imposing some sanction on those three. Well, as the company president, who's venturing into the kids' business, this cannot be overlooked. Considering this, I made a proposal to the president. Hearing the proposal I had been considering since before giving birth, the president nodded vigorously.
I'll cooperate with your proposal.
Thank you. Thus, I gained a strong ally. But my body was utterly exhausted. So that day, I was taken directly to the postpartum care hotel. And thanks to the president's connections, I was allowed to stay at the hotel. The postpartum care plan I experienced was the best care anyone could ask for. The hotel had professional staff like midwives available 24/7. Not only was the support comprehensive, but there were also many relaxations and comfort-focused amenities. There were other new moms like me, and for the first time in a while, I could relax.
I wish I could stay here forever.
I couldn't help but voice such a thought. I truly rested well. And the next day, the president came to see me. He called Fenton in front of me. Soon, Fenton answered the phone.
Fenton? Sorry to bother you on your day off.
No, is there something you need?
Actually, I have a favor to ask of you.
The president started off like that and then made a suggestion.
I'd like you and your family to be models for a pamphlet. Would that be okay? My wife, me, and our daughter as models, you mean? Your daughter was just born, right? She'd be perfect for a pamphlet model.
Indeed, if it's related to bridal pamphlets, we would be suitable. But Fenton just kicked me out. There's no way he could accept under these circumstances. I smirked to myself. Turning down a direct request from the president would surely affect Fenton's career. That was my plan to give him some damage. However, Fenton accepted without hesitation.
Sure, I'll be happy to help.
I panicked. This wouldn't damage Fenton at all. The plan had failed. While I was being sad about my plan not working, the president smirked wickedly.
Then come to the studio right away. Is 1 hour okay? 1 hour later? Yes, I'll have the staff ready.
Fenton started to panic and interrupted as the president was speaking.
Wait a minute. Today is really.
Why is that?
Well, I have to talk to my wife.
Fenton began to fumble for excuses. It seems he thought he could convince me if he had the time. That's what you get for answering without thinking, serves you right. I couldn't stop the wicked smile spreading across my face.
Then talk to her now. Your daughter was just born, she's there, right?
The president pressed on. Fenton fell completely silent. In the end, Fenton said he would consult and hung up the phone once. Needless to say, I was bombarded with calls from him afterward. Of course, I ignored them all. My mobile phone kept ringing for about 30 minutes. But finally, it seemed he gave up, and my phone quieted down. Right after that, the president's mobile phone rang.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but my wife says she's too shy to pose for photos.
I hadn't said anything like that. While those thoughts were running inside my head, the president audibly sighed.
So you're telling me you can't even convince your own wife?
No, it's not that, but
I'm disappointed in you.
As the president said this, Fenton began to apologize loudly enough that I could hear.
I'm terribly sorry. I'll make sure I convince her.
It sounded as if Fenton was deeply apologizing right in front of me. After making Fenton apologize for a while, the president hung up the phone. Next he called Judah.
Hello? Judah?
Well, if it isn't the president. What can I do for you?
I have a gift for you. Would you accept it?
Saying this, the president looked at me. I nodded with a smile, and the president declared,
You know we manage a restaurant for wedding after parties, right?
Of course.
I'm thinking of lending that place to you. Lending the place to me.
Judah must have been tilting his head in confusion. This was also part of my plan. First, the president would personally offer Judah the spacious restaurant used for wedding after parties. Next, he's going to ask him to debut his granddaughter there. Once the 1-month checkup is over, it's time for the baby to go out for walks. And that would be the timing to debut his granddaughter. In a normal family, they might jump at such an offer. But my family's situation is different. Judah had just kicked me out, and there's no way I would accept an invitation from him. So, Judah also started to make excuses in a hurry.
You see, our family is.
What?
Are you refusing my gift? Of course not. It's just that we need to consider my daughter-in-law's health.
Judah began to say things he didn't mean. I was annoyed. Then the president pressed on.
Was there a problem with the 1-month checkup?
No, it's not that, but...
Then hold the debut party. I'll cover the costs, don't worry. The date is?
The president kept pushing forward. Throughout, Judah's flustered voice could be heard. He's panicking, what will he do? I was barely holding back my laughter. Eventually, the president finished talking and unilaterally hung up the phone. Then, immediately, my mobile phone started ringing. It's Judah. I wickedly smiled, holding my mobile phone. What should I do? There's no need to listen to Judah's calls. I could just ignore it. But just ignoring it wouldn't be fun. And it wouldn't clear my feelings. So, I answered the call.
Hello? Jolie?
His voice was louder than usual. Was he that panicked? Regardless, I responded with an irritated voice. Yes, is this Judah?
Thank goodness. Jolie, please listen to me.
What? No way. I clearly stated. Judah seemed stunned for a moment, but then quickly tried to plead with me again.
Don't say that. It'll be the last thing I ask from you, please.
At this point, it was as if I had already won. But I held back my laughter and pressed for more details. What's going on?
I actually have a favor to ask.
Judah told me what the president had discussed in front of me. But it all sounded too convenient. He didn't mention it was the president's instruction, nor did he specify the time that had been set. He just repeated that he wanted to hold a debut party, or that he would rent the place himself. So, I curtly refused.
I refuse. I've been kicked out, after all. No, we didn't mean to. That was...
Judah smoothly laid out his excuses. I, getting really irritated, couldn't help but raise my voice. You offer a deep apology. I'll consider attending the debut party. Well... Judah faltered.
Send me a photo of you deeply apologizing. When I see it, I'll go. Goodbye.
I said that and hung up the phone. I doubted he would actually offer a deep apology. I was pretty confident about that. Contrary to my expectations, a photo of Judah deeply apologizing was sent to my mobile phone. This threw a wrench in my plans. I was planning to make the debut party fail and have him apologize to the president. I needed to think of something else. As I frowned, the president next to me offered a suggestion.
How about this for the debut party?
I listened intently to his proposal. It was indeed a fascinating idea. And it would allow me to get back at Fenton and my in-laws.
Let's do that.
I immediately started preparing. Days passed, and the day of the debut party organized by the president arrived. Of course, I hadn't returned to my in-laws' house at all. In fact, I hadn't even been in contact with Fenton or my in-laws. Making them a little nervous is fine, right? With that thought, I headed to the venue with the president. Peeking into the venue, I saw my in-laws being scolded by relatives.
What's going on? She's not here.
That's strange. She said she would come, right? Well, yeah. Judah was sweating bullets. Other relatives were pressing Fenton. Didn't you leave the house together? We couldn't possibly leave together. Because I wasn't living with them. But I didn't want to keep them waiting too long. I slowly entered the venue with the president. Sorry for the wait.
Finally, you're here.
Judah sighed in relief. Fenton, on the other hand, confronted me.
What were you doing? Jolie.
Huh?
Preparing for the debut party, what else? Preparation, but where's Lily?
Fenton frantically looked around. Despite having neglected us for so long, I sighed and answered. Lily is being looked after.
Huh? Then what are we supposed to do at this debut party?
I've prepared a slideshow. That should suffice. Saying that, I brushed past Fenton. Then I explained the situation to the gathered relatives. Lily couldn't be brought here, but we've prepared a slideshow for you. As I spoke, a staff started setting up the slideshow. I continued speaking while checking the setup. I'm very sorry, but please enjoy this. As I signaled, a gentle music played. And the venue darkened. At the same time, several photos appeared on the screen. Instantly, gasps of surprise filled the venue.
What's this?
The screen displayed photos of Fenton's affair. Then, Judah's affair photos followed.
This can't be. This is horrible.
Naturally, Fenton and Judah went pale upon seeing the photos. But Fenton quickly reacted and attempted to stop the slideshow.
Stop it! Don't show this!
Excuse me? You get what you deserve.
This is your doing? Why would you do this?
Fenton yelled at me. So, I shot back.
Because you locked me and Lily out. You changed the entrance lock while we were gone.
The venue fell silent. Then murmurs began.
Locked out? What do you mean?
Amidst those voices, I exposed the conversation about changing the house locks. And mentioned the president was a witness. You're lying, right? I'm sorry, but it's all true. He witnessed the whole thing, that's why he helped me. I said, and the president nodded.
But my life is over.
Fenton crumbled. Looking back, Judah was already in a state of shock.
In the future, our company is entering the kids' business. We don't need employees who can't cherish children. It was a mistake from lack of sleep. No excuses. Resign on your own. If not, I'll fire you even if it causes trouble.
The president's determination was fierce. Eventually, Judah and Fenton submitted their resignation letters. Afterward, I filed for divorce from Fenton. The photos of the affair ensured the divorce to proceed smoothly. Moreover, Fenton agreed to pay me $2 million in damages. Luckily, he had severance pay, so the money was quickly transferred. I also demanded damages from Fenton's mistress, but she claimed not to know he was married. She agreed to pay me damages and is also seeking compensation from Fenton. It looks like a messy situation, but it's none of my concern now. Judah and Madge seem not to go through with the divorce. They wanted to, but Fenton's legal fees drained their savings. They're selling their house and moving to an apartment to cover living expenses and child support for Lily. They'll have to manage on a tight budget. Meanwhile, the president offered me a job. We have an employee leaving, so would you like to work with us? Lily is still small, but I need to make a living. I plan to take up his offer soon. For now, I want to quietly spend precious time with Lily. After all the hardship, I think I deserve this little luxury.